Welcome once again. It's the Gliders on BETWGB TV. We are gearing up for another fantastic edition, another fantastic, maybe an hour or few or less rather, to talk about sports here on the microphone. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian, once again standing in as your host instead of Joy, who continues to recuperate from that fantastic trip in Morocco covering the Super Falcons for the Women's African Cup of Nations. I'm not alone on set today. If you are very observant on the show last time, you could see that we were just 3 on set. Like I said last time, limited on set, but not limited in our ideas when it comes to talking sports. Well, today I've got a returnee on the show. It's quite rare to use that terminology for this person who's always opposite me. His name is Timothy, making a return on the show. Timothy, good to have you back. How's it been for you when you were away?
Hi, Emmanuel. Good to be back on set. I thought I was going to be here last week and I was going to, talk with Mikolo, experience Morocco and all of those, but I mean, sometimes it happens. Now, my week was fantastic. I was in Ikene for the MPF Under 19 Youth Championship. I also saw the first Value Jet Cup game. And then the one that interested me mostly was I had a little conversation with Toby Adepoju, that's Oganla Media, on his sporting director's role. And then, listening to him speak directly on some things, he knows that it's a lot of things to do for him, and it's not just, on social media people be like, Oganla don't get a good job, that kind of thing. But it's hectic. I saw him on Saturday night around 9 p.m. When I was with Oganla, he was picking calls for almost every minute. I saw him on Saturday, I was like, guy, go sleep. That kind of thing. So it's not so going to be such an easy job, and he has also said it when he was having his first interview with the club media that it's not going to be easy, but we wish him all the best and hope that he does best. But yeah, my weekend was fantastic and back on set again.
Good to have you back, because some of our viewers and listeners have been dropping some comments. Where's Timothy? No Timothy on the show today, so I needed to put you on the spot for you to let them know what's been like the last couple of days. For the second time back to back since his return, Mikolo is also on set today. He made a triumphant return last time. He was giving us bars upon bars with the hot takes and analysis. Mikolo, good to have you once again.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I don't go that long without making appearance on the show. So
yeah,
I'm very prolific when it comes to goal scoring, except when injured. So you don't. I have to drop you every week. I have to be, but it's good to be back. Good to come talk sport again. This is home now. This is where we get to express ourselves every week, and I'm glad that the viewers and the listeners are also seeing it that way.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed it so far on the Gliders on BETWGB TV. For as many of you who's been keeping it in touch with us, dropping comments, sharing our videos on YouTube, we want to say thank you. And if you're watching this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more of our contents that we'll be bringing out to you as far as the Gliders is concerned on BETWGB TV. So let's get in on the show proper. Guys, the Chan Eagles, the Confederation of African Nation Championship is currently ongoing in Tanzania. The Chan Eagles, based in Zanzibar, we saw that opener against Senegal where they lost by 1-0. It was against the defending champions. It wasn't always going to be an easy game. Timothy, you saw that game. Where did it go wrong for the Chan Eagles, led by Eric Chell, also the Super Eagles coach? And this was a tournament where people felt we were going to, go some distance with the amount of money now flying in terms of rewards. So people felt that's the motivation for the guys out there in Zanzibar. So where did it go wrong in that game against Senegal?
Where it went wrong was we failed to create any real chance. With all of the play we could say we had, passing the ball around and all that, there was no instance where you could feel that we were going to score a goal. And football can be like that sometimes. You play, pass, and you don't find anything that could connect to you, even getting close to the goalkeeper. And that was how it was for even major part of the first half. And I had issues with Eric Chell making late substitutions. We were chasing a game. It's a first game. The first game is always important. You don't know what happens in the next 2 games. Tournaments can be very crazy. Although you do not want to lose ball. At that point, it was very, very still open. Make your substitutions early, and it's not a case of whether those guys who were there were creating anything too much, where you say, okay, it could eventually click, and okay, maybe Sikiri is doing something very odd. Ijoma, who was playing alongside him, was doing something very, very strong, where you could say, okay, a goal is coming soon. Sometimes coaches can be like that. Okay, let's give it a few 10 minutes more and let's see if something will happen. And then maybe towards the end of the 90, in 20 minutes more, they could change something. But I mean, if Abdurrafiu was not injured, Harrison would not have come in to replace him. So it means that his first substitution would have been on the 80th minute, which he did. I think he brought in Shola at that point and some other. He brought in Shola. I can't remember the other guy, but Shola came in, and you saw what Shola did when he came in. I mean, Shola is a very, very creative player. He can dazzle on the ball, very, very low center of gravity. He can do so much with the ball, and then we needed someone who could create something, who could bring in that spark and put something up for those guys up front. And then some people have like. Personally, for me, I think I have an issue with the approach. Maybe he needs to tweak something, but managers sometimes can be stubborn. But if you want to be stubborn, you cannot be stubborn in a tournament. We saw it with AFCON in the 2024 AFCON, 2023 AFCON that was played in 2024 with Nigeria. When Jose Peseiro was the coach of Nigeria then, the first game we saw how we played against, I can't remember, Equatorial Guinea, and did not provide what we needed. And from the tournaments, Ivory Coast to the final, we could see that okay, stuck with something that was working. We lost the final, that's it. But still, you would not say that okay, this approach was not something that worked. Whether you people liked it or not, it was something that was working and it was giving me results. That's what tournament is about. If you are building a club team, it's different. Managers for club team, or if you are building for the long term, okay, let's say he came in about maybe 2-3 years ago and was the one handling this team where there was no real tournaments coming soon, where you were still trying to build the teams. You can insist that I want to stick with my style and approach. I know that you know that over the years they can learn on the tactics, because it's very, very difficult to learn tactics, to learn positioning, movement here, where the coach wants you to be at this point, where the coach wants you to press, where the coach wants you to sit deep, where the coach wants you to move and quickly transition. I mean, all of those things, there are too many details that you cannot learn in a short period of time. So I think that's one thing Eric Chell would need to adapt to. You need to adapt to the kind of players you have. You don't have, it's the kind of players you have that you'd adapt to. And like I did say, it's a tournament where there is no time. Tomorrow against Sudan is very, very crucial. We have lost the first game, and it would have even made more sense if we had drawn the game, because I mean Congo and Sudan played out a 1-1 draw. So if we had drawn Senegal, then everybody would be on the same point. So it's still fair. But now that we have lost, Sudan will be coming that okay, they've dropped points in the first game. They want to recover from that point. Nigeria to have dropped points. Senegal would want to build from where they stopped. Congo would also want to build from the 1 point they got. So we do not have any chance to lose. But I think that, like I did say, it needs to be open-minded and listen to. I don't know if he's listening to his assistant coaches. I don't even know if Dan and Fidelis are with him at the moment.
Yeah, but there's just been a breakdown in communication.
Because that was always going to be my next question, because a lot of people have said Eric Shell shouldn't have been the spearhead of this team.
Absolutely.
Why not leave it for the guys in the NPFL who know the league, who know the players, but they're also there with him. So is it that Eric Shell has the major decisions to make? Because a lot of people see him as the main man when it comes to this Chan Eagles team. So should he have been the one to lead this team?
I think the signs were there, to be honest. The signs were there for their close campaign in Ikene. For people that went there, you could see that even when Shell wasn't around, his assistant was the one taking control of the training sessions. This is different from when we were playing the qualifiers, when we saw how active Daniel Gumodede and Fidelis Lechuku were with the team. And I think it's very obvious also with the way we are playing. The boys look very clueless. They are playing a very different style. And just like Timothy have said, I think it takes time to be able to implement. I said on a space that we were together on Monday that you just don't go to a country and try to change the philosophy in few months. It doesn't happen like that. There's a tradition. There's a way people play football. There's if
as a new coach, you can always come and bring your own style.
You only improve on the play. You don't change the entire system. I don't think you go to Spain now and try to change them from tiki-taka. There's a reason why we call people German machines. For over 40 years, it has always been German machines. Brazilian Zamba style of play, it has always been like that. I can put it to you that right now, if you pick a team of random 11 players in Nigeria, against another 11 players, I can basically tell you 3 formations that they're going to play and the style of play that we're going to play. No coach, no analyst whatsoever. Just put 11 players on the pitch. They can tell you play 4, you play 8, you play 10, 4-3-3, or let's say 4-4-2, or let's say this kind of thing. So it is the identity of Nigeria. It is the style of play that will play across the NPFL, across the NLO, even down to academies, right? So it is the style that we've been conditioned to play. It is the identity of football in the whole. You just don't come in there 3 months, how many months with the team, and you're trying to change entirely. It is very hard to grasp. When you watch the game against Senegal, you could see a very clueless team. We were very clueless. First, you're starting with similar profiles in midfield. The trio of Tochukwu Michael, Adedayo Olamilekon, and Kudus Akoni are similar type of players. These are players that always want to come and collect the ball and try to build from deep. There is no anybody from those 3. They play the same style of football. There's no one of them that feels they are in control of the creativity at the final third, right? There's nobody that feels like they're in charge of wanting to get the ball to Sikri Alimi or to the other striker. So it was very obvious that we're very flat in midfield. All 3 were playing the same style of play. Kudus Akoni also probably broke into the team in the last minute. Do you understand? So I feel like we could have gone with a safer option, with a safer approach.
Should all the Remo Stars contingents be in that team? Are they worth their place?
So this is the thing.
Every one of them, what their inclusion?
Let me tell you something. The very funny thing is that this game it confirmed my biggest fear, because whenever we lose in the CHAN tournament or the local team gets to fail, it is always an indictment on the whole league. You've seen conversations about, this talks about our quality as a league, and that's not the problem. We see these guys week in, week out. They play football better than what we saw against Senegal. Yeah. If you go to Remo Stars and watch their game, they play very good football. Ikorodu City played very good football last season. We've seen teams play very good football, even if it's tiki-taka, even if it's long balls. We play very good football in Nigerian league. You cannot make us look that clueless on the Senegal. Were not very exceptional in the way they played against us, to be honest. If not for the mistake that eventually happened, the breakdown in communication between the goalkeeper and Leonard, the game could have ended 1-1, and this conversation could have been different entirely. Nobody's going to be saying, our players are not good, we have inferior players and all of that. So play players according to their strength, right? You know Shola Adelani one-on-one, so you are bringing Shola in the 80th minute, and then they are not telling him. I watched an interview actually of Shola saying that this is what Eric Chell always wants from him, to say, take on the man one-on-one. So why didn't you start him? He's a natural right winger. Why are you starting two strikers and then playing 3-5 of diamond formation in midfield? So play players according to their strength. Put Harrison in left back. We watch these guys. Harrison at left back is a beast.
You saw him come in and do the crosses he made. I think about
that. He came in a few minutes into the game.
The threats that we eventually had in the game. Put Shola on the right. Put whosoever you want. You didn't pick Atule, but there are also other wingers that you can put on the left. Put them. Start the number 1 striker. If it's Alimi, if it's anybody that you want to start, just put them number. We know what to play. Don't make us look clueless on the continent, and that's what I feel like should change in this game. Just like what Timothy has said, that was obviously my point, because I was also in Abidjan last year, and we also, how you say, Pesedo wanted to try to play some very cool football in the first game. We scored, and Equatorial Guinea pegged us back, and then we played 1-1. From the second game against the host, it changed the approach entirely, and that was when we now found a new style of playing, which was Alexander Iwobi and Onyeka sitting, and allowing Osimhen doing all of the running there, Ademola Lookman, Moses Simon on the wings. This is our style of play. Allow our wingers to run at defenders, take them one-on-one. If you can beat 1 man, 2 man, launch the ball into the box, and the striker buries the ball. That's the kind of football that we play in Nigeria. You don't come and start changing everything, 2 strikers up front, diamond formation. I don't think it's going to work. Hopefully, I'm really hoping that it doesn't stay rigid in this second game, because it might get too late at the third game. We're playing against a Sudanese side that has the same style that we played, of taking about 9 players from the same team in Remo Stars. They also have players from I think Al Hilal. They have
Al Hilal Sudan.
So they have. There's one thing that some African teams have perfected, is having core players from a particular team, and they always play well. Because I think we are going to say with Morocco as well. You know, when you see Asfar, you see all of those guys. It also happens with South Africa, even in their national team, their main national team. Mamelodi Sundowns. You know, there's Ronwen, there's Mokwana, there's all of those guys in midfield, and they have that connection. So we can also have that connection. I feel the mistake has been done. The first mistake was not going with a recognized DM. We understand, but we can still work towards that. Let people play their roles, identify the roles, the normal roles that we are used to in Nigerian football, and hopefully we can pick up from there.
Timothy, let me also take your thoughts on, I mean, like what Mikolo said, the CHAN tournament, does he always depict the value of your league? Because, I mean, we look at Senegal, the defending champions. How much can we say about their league? So is he always that picture? Because, I mean, when we don't do well in this tournament, we see people come out to say, I mean, we have unserious players in the league. Our league is not good enough. The players are not capable.
Like, is this
player you want them to invite to the Super Eagles, stuff like that? So is it always that through picture that this tournament depicts the value of your league moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's going to be like, because when you pick players and you see that this tournament is for players from the local league. Sorry to use that word, but of course we are not international, we are local here. So it's actually what is going to tell the story. So that's why I understand when people who cover the league, journalists, stakeholders can say that we have to do well.
But there are still concerns that the very best were not selected.
Well, that's always going to be normal with any list. We know that, okay, the very best were not selected and all of those things. But still, no, I'm even saying, okay, maybe some people should have actually been included, the likes of Zayed, who many people have talked about. Yeah. But I feel like I did say, I agree with the fact that everyone from Remo Stars, and maybe just one should have not been in that list. But I mean, look at the likes that went Tochukwu Michael, Olamilekan Adedayo, Sikiru Alimi. I mean, which striker do we have that can? We know Sikiru does not have that pace of many years ago, but look at him, and then he's someone that is good with his older play. He's also a senior player. He has played with the senior. I mean, the team that General Super Eagles. Yeah, so I mean, you cannot say that. I don't know who is that striker that you say should come and replace him. The likes of Godin Obaje, who was the top scorer, was there. Anas Yusuf, top scorer from last season, was also there. So I mean, the team is okay. We know that it's always football. Some teams would have more people. I mean, look at the way Remo Stars played the league season, and they won the league. The manner in which they won it, the style in which they won it, was very, very decent. So people can talk about the fact that it's Remo Stars having so many players, but it doesn't mean that there is a favoritism. That there
was a time when the Spanish national team was full of
Barcelona players. So all those conversations, and even look at it now. It's not like Daniel is mostly involved in the team at the moment where you now say, he has favored this player. So it's what the coach or the technical crew have decided that these players are really, really fit. And if you look at it, I've mentioned the likes of Leonard Unduka, top defender. Who do you want?
Leonard, number one.
So Leonard has joined Remo Stars according to CAF on their list. Remo Stars are not officially unveiled, but on the CAF list, we saw him in Remo Stars, very, very top defender. We saw what he did because Ikorodu City is very calm.
He also had an amazing game up to that.
Absolutely.
He was pick his head up from
like
that.
I even said, I told Felix that this guy had a very, very good game, and that's one thing that sometimes I really don't like when people use maybe you go to a score app and you now check and you saw that, or you saw it on Twitter, you don't watch the game. And I mean, Leonard had a fantastic game. Let's forget that he made that mistake and all of those things. He had a fantastic game. So for the players, I mean, they've selected the best of players. And back to the first question, the players know that they have to do well. I wrote an article for MPFL TV podcast when we were previewing the league and the CHAN tournament. I said that this is the tournament that actually matters for the league. Wherever you are, in South Africa, in Morocco, in Nigeria, it is this tournament that will depict the true value of your league. Sometimes there are room for exceptions. I mean, when Senegal won it or when Sudan won it, it did not mean that they had the best league.
Exactly, which is why I posed that question.
Yeah, as I said, there are room for exceptions, but most times it's always this case. I mean, we've seen Egypt, we've seen Morocco win it, and then you know that these players. I know that South Africa very soon may win it, and it's always that case of you have to do well, even though you don't win it. Like I did say, sometimes football can be different, but in the manner in which you play, the manner in which you pose a threat and all of those things, the way you can go far will always tell people the real truth about your league, and that's why it's very necessary sometimes to actually do very well.
But I also think that if we actually look at it right, we even if we win the CHAN tournament, right? I don't think we're the best league in Africa.
Yeah, that's why I said there's room for exceptions.
We're top 3, right? So we can actually win. I think even if we win, it just says the fact that probably we just need to prove that the fact that we have quality players in the league, right? It doesn't mean that our league is actually top there when it comes to like organization and all of those things. So it might be a flawed kind of way of looking at things, but also quality of players should be showing in this kind of tournament, especially if you think or if you say that you pick the best legs in your league.
All right. I mean, one thing that we can be happy for is that these games are on TV. We watch these games, and I mean, as the host nation, you always expect fans to come out in their numbers whenever the host country is playing. I've watched games where Uganda was involved, Tanzania, Kenya as well. The stadium was filled, to the brim. The atmosphere was really, really lively, but not similar case when other countries are playing. You can't understand why.
What's the best game you have seen?
I saw one game. I've forgotten who they played.
The Angola second game was the game.
That game was it was fire. There was late goal drama. The celebrations was wide, and that's one thing with VAR. You just cut off the joy, and you have to feel for the Angolans there. But so far, it's been enjoyable to watch on TV, not being there as a person, because we don't know the journalists that are there, what they've seen, what they've witnessed. So because we always know that there's always room for improvement, like we rightly say, and the 3 countries hosting now will be hosting the next AFCON after Morocco. So it's more like a test run to see how things will go when that time comes for the AFCON. But talking about the game against Sudan for the Chan Eagles, I mean, quick one. So what are your expected changes? Is it in terms of personnel, in terms of tactics, in terms of setup? What do you want to see change, Mikolo, from Erichel in that next game against Sudan?
I think we should employ a comfortable tactic and a comfortable formation. That should be my own. For personnel's sake, I believe that these players are top players, professional players. We have very good players in the league. Everybody that made that tournaments are worth going there, because to play in the Nigerian league is not easy. And for you to actually play, people just try to commodify the fact that they are playing in the league. Playing in the NPFL is professional, it's top notch, it's high intensity. So for you to be playing and making the top team in the Chan is no mean feat. I tell you that for because I've seen people that I've had a friend that say, oh, the league and all of that. He had this opinion about the league, but 1 or 2 times I came to watch Ikorodu City, watch sports in Lagos, because he used to play football as a young kid and all of that, and so he probably felt that he could. But now he tells me every time that the intensity that he's watching in Onikon is not as easy as people make it seem. Yeah. So for those guys, I believe that we cannot condemn them. They are not rookies. So anybody that eventually gets to play, I just feel like we should play comfortable formation. Identify roles, number 4, number 6, number 8, number 10.
Square pegs and round holes.
Do you understand? Let them play what they are familiar with. The things that they play week in, week out under the different coaches in the league. Allow them to play that. Maybe bring in Harrison at left back. I'll fancy that. Bring in Shola on the wings. Is naturally left-footed. One of the best players and most skillful players that we have. Can beat men one-on-one. Can create chances. And also make changes very easy, very early, depending on the game. And also consult the coaches. I saw that they were not really active. I think we only had Coach down once or twice in the game against Senegal, making some shouting at these guys. So familiar voices also helps a lot. Allow these guys take charge of the touchline, of the sideline. If we get to Super Eagles A, you can probably try to enforce some of these things. They are probably exposed to like better systems, adaptability and all of that. But these are our local guys. Allow them, relate with them as much as they can. If you need to speak Yoruba to them, speak Yoruba to them. Wherever you need to speak language, if you need to speak Pidgin, speak Pidgin. We sometimes always try to not be aware of the fact that these things play a very major role. If they come. This person plays, this guy don't make run. Do you understand? All those kind of little communication. So I want it to be as comfortable as they can be. Also, I feel like probably players are much happier now. There's been some new familiar faces. The presence of few journalists, there's happiness, that supports the fact that people are watching us back home. We have our guys around now, familiar faces in training, some eyes here and there, but people are covering us. I feel like the guys will perform better in the game against
Timothy, any changes you want to see personnel, tactical wise?
Yeah, just what Mikolo has said. I think Harrison has to start in left back, then Shola has to come in. I don't know, maybe I'm the one talking about the Shola team too much, but I've watched him.
So he should play from the start. You want to see him start?
I've watched him play so many times, and I feel like there's a lot he can do in terms of creativity. He's someone that you don't know his next move. Most times you don't know what Shola is going to do. It could be, you think he wants to pass and then he's beating you. You could think he wants to beat you on 1v1 and he's giving one very, very fantastic pass. So I think it should be in that game tomorrow, and then I don't know how Richel is going to do it, but he needs to find a way to bring him in. Harrison on left back, Shola, and then make the right substitutions at a very, very early time, depending on where the game is. and try to control the game, create more chances. Don't be too rigid. Let the players have a free flow of play sometimes. I know you already have your tactics outlined for you and for the team, but sometimes having those players do those things, free flow sometimes can help, because if there's too much information in their head, or maybe from the beginning of the game you're already saying, hey, you're not making the right move, hey, you're not falling into the right position. Sometimes I know, all of those things are important because you're a coach and it's what you have trained a lot, many times in training, but still, free flow in some few minutes of the game would also help the players.
Chaotic football.
All right, so we hope the Chan Eagles will make amends from that game against Sudan. They considered that goal against Senegal in the 75th minute was an error from Leonard and the goalkeeper Mustafa Lawal of Shooting Stars. So, but it was heartbreaking in the end for the Chan Eagles. Leonard heads down in disappointment, just being cheered by his teammates. I mean, he needs to move on. He's a young lad. He needs to move on from the errors. There are so many games to make things right, to set things right. We wait to see if Eric Chell is going to stick with him for the next game. So, but they need to, they need to step it up.
For the Harrison, there's also another case, right? There's Unduka and Sadiq on this side. Why not put Leonard and Harrison on this side? They already have some form of communication from the past season.
That's
okay.
They know how to play.
I see what you did there.
Everybody's
these things are underrated, right? Unduka and Sadiq
on the right,
on this
exactly.
right. You can also put Leonard and Harrison on the left. It doesn't.
But does Eric Chell know this? Because he doesn't
that's why you
follow
have
the
to
league.
give chance to the people that know these things. The coaches that they are there, not for decoration. The likes of Ogumodede can see these things. Just the way I'm seeing it. If myself without a coaching license can see what communication can do for guys on the left side of the defense and guys on the right side, then why is the coach not seeing it? Except if you do not know them.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed in that game against Sudan tomorrow. The Chan Eagles are still camped in Zanzibar in Tanzania. They are currently bottom of the group. Senegal leading the way with 3 points. Like Timothy rightly mentioned, Sudan and Congo played out a draw. So in second and third, and the Chan Eagles in fourth. We'll go on our very first break on the show. When we return, we're still here to give you more talking points on the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. It is still the Gliders on BETWGB TV, and like we always say on the show, as you can see on your screen, you can claim a huge bonus credit if you sign in on the BETWGB platform. Just use the promo code Gliders and you can enjoy the very best on the betting platform. And like we always say, don't forget to bet responsibly. So back on the show, still with the guys. I've still got Timothy and Mikolo on set. Now let's move on now to the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup. We know Nigerian teams are definitely going to be involved. We saw the draws. It was held over the weekend, and it doesn't get any easy for Nigerian teams. I mean, we've been hoping, or we pray we get to a level where we are going to be given a bye in the first round. I mean, in recent times, because our league champions Remo Stars are also going to be playing from the first preliminary round to the second preliminary round. Now, looking at those fixtures, in the last couple of seasons, we failed to make it past the first preliminary rounds when it comes to the CAF Champions League. All our champions in terms of Remo Stars and Rivers United. Now, the draws have been made. I don't know what our thoughts are. Where do you see this one panning out? Remo Stars, they've been drawn, and it's always going to be a tough one for Remo Stars. They face, the side from Comoros. This team also played Rangers International in the last, is it last season?
Yes.
Or in the preliminary round? And Jilimaju of Comoros. How do you see this one panning out for Remo Stars?
I don't think that Remo Stars have a problem, although if you look at precedents, even when I think the last game they played against Medema SC, when they lost in the first preliminary round in the CAF Champions League, many expected that they were going to progress, but they lost right there in Ikene, and it was not something many people expected, and they've not gone past the first preliminary round. But on paper, let's be honest with ourselves, Remo Stars are champions. They play good football. They have a good coach. The team is solid. They have made good recruitments. Not many of the players have left. I mean, the likes of Sikiru may leave. And to be very honest, no disrespect to Sikiru, in their last season, Sikiru was not so much involved in what they did in terms of achieving success. I'm not saying it was not involved, but it was really not. I mean, it's not a case of, the shoulders were so much on him that, okay, if he's leaving, then they'll be affected. So the team is still they have a core of the team still left, and they're still bringing in more players. Against Zulimanji, I expect that it should be an easy ride for Remo Stars. But where the problem lies, to be very honest, and no sugarcoating is, I do not know how Remo Stars would play against the Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, the Mamelodi Sundowns who played the 4-3. Who lost 4-3 to a Borussia Dortmund who played in the Champions League final 2 years ago. So I don't know if you understand my connection. It's very, very difficult. Football is not, sometimes it doesn't work on paper, but to be very honest, it's very difficult. And I think for Kwara United also, they've not gotten themselves a good draw. The first stage looks something very, very easy. Although we have said it so many times, when we look at the draws, you feel like it's easy, then our teams go there and then falter. But even if Kwara United go past that first stage, there's a Wydad Casablanca waiting somewhere. Although Wydad went to the Club World Cup and lost all their games in the group stages, but I mean, we know in Africa they can be that thorn in the flesh. But yes, still the teams they do not have a choice. They have to first face the first hurdle before them and then try to see what is next. So for Remo Stars, I feel like they would get past Zulimanji easily. I hope they don't prove me wrong, because I'm here right now boasting and saying that they will do well. And against Mamelodi Sundowns, I would still not say they do not have a chance outrightly, because it's an African team. Remo Stars is also an African team. They're not playing against Real Madrid. They're not playing against Barcelona, where I'll say, okay, it's really, really difficult maybe to match them level for level. That said, it doesn't mean that Mamelodi Sundowns are not favourites, but they're always favourites, and sometimes you see the shocker. I've seen it so many times in African football. So I expect that Remo Stars will get past the first round, then at least get that first money first, then try to see if you can get the other cash outs. But for Remo Stars, I expect them to progress to the next round, and then from there we can come back to analyze whether they will be going past Mamelodi Sundowns.
Because I mean, on paper it looks like it's going to be a cracker, no doubt. It's going to be a brilliant game to watch. If it's going to be in Ikene and the reverse fixture in South Africa, a big game. I can't wait to see what that game. But this is just us, jumping the ball. Let's not write off, the first team that they will play the first play.
I said they need to first get past the first. Because I'm looking for precedents. I said
yes, because the last time Zulimanji came to Nigeria to play against Rangers last preliminary round, they played 1-1 and 1-0. Both legs were played at the Gospel Fabio Stadium in Uyo, and Rangers then were champions. Won the league in spectacular fashion, and we thought
struggle against such team
are not going to even pose any threat, and then those guys came with all of the threats, played 1-1 in Uyo against a Rangers side that we thought were phenomenal. So we've also seen the same, just like what they said with Medema. We thought, a team from Ghana, we should be getting past them easily. And then, because of Remo Stars and their consistency over the years in the style of play and the way they've played football. So I think we should not be going ahead of ourselves yet. We shouldn't be looking at the Sundowns game. And knowing the kind of person that Coach Daniel is, I think he also knows that Zulimanji can also pose a threat to him. And I don't think we should be looking at Mamelodi Sundowns yet. We should be looking at how they can effectively still dispatch the Comoros side comfortably first, and then from there we can pick up Mamelodi Sundowns. They are not unbeatable. They play very good football, but they are not unbeatable. Remo Stars on their day are also a very good side.
Yeah,
against Mediema the season before, knocked out in the preliminary rounds. The next season was Asfar of Club of Rabat, also fantastic game in Ikene.
The accused
fantastic game in Ikene before they went all the way to Morocco to lose the return fixture. Has anything changed for Remo Stars? In terms of recruitment, players that they've lost. Do you see anything changing in this? Like you said, let's forget about Mamelodi Sundowns now. But has anything significantly has been done to this Remo Stars team that will make you see and say, okay, maybe this is the time they will go on better? Okay,
so just like I've always said before now, I think one of the advantages of being a private club is consistency. It's the fact that you have time to build. So for Coach Daniel Ogumodede and the whole Remo Stars team, starting from their owner, I think they are starting to reap the benefits of having a long-term plan, right? So they are coming of age, right? They've made mistakes. One, come back, promoted, relegated, got third, got second, champions, and then eventually became champions. So you can see that there's a progression, and that's what happens when you are a private team that has a long-term plan. You can always say, in the last 10 years we are projecting winning the league. Now they've done it in 5 years. In the next 10 years what is the next step? The next step is to be able to get to the group stage of the Champions League. Don't fall out of Champions League places in the league. So this is what having a plan, a long-term plan, does for a team. And I feel like Coach Daniel is benefiting from the fact that he has the trust of the owner. They are all in this together. So the belief in the camp of the Remo Stars, and the players, both the coaches, the owners, is that they've progressed. They've started getting matured. You're seeing the likes of Unduka, that started probably as an under-17 player with Remo Stars, has now won the league, is now leading the Chan team, is getting called up to the Super Eagles once in a while, and now they feel that they've matured. All of those setbacks that they've had in the previous years has now led to a very matured team. The likes of Sadiq Ismail can now hold their own. The likes of Adedayo Olamilekon can hold their own. The likes of Unduka can hold their own. There's
Ahmed,
even a young Ahmed can come into the side and have the confidence to also own his own. I mean, Kayode Bankole, some of these other guys
they have
as
a
well,
good goalkeeper in
Obasa as well. So they are beginning to mature, and you can tell that the failures have culminated into a very much matured team. You can see in the way they grinded out the results in Ikene last season to win the league. When it's not 95 or full time, don't write off Remo Stars. And I feel that's going to play a very big part. The coach has also matured. Don't forget that he has also grown with this team. This guy knew some of these players from under 17, under 15 level. Coach Daniel has been with these guys from under 17 level now to the senior team, to finishing third, second, to winning the league. Now, after winning the league, what is the next step? We've filtered preliminary stages. Now we believe that we have so I feel like that's what has improved. They've gotten stronger mentally. They started to make a couple of recruitments. We have seen Victor Mbama just got the unveiled him couple of days ago. Returns to the Remo Stars side. Very good recruit. He's also a fan favorite because he started his career with Remo Stars. He's had like 2 stints with them and now he's back. He also had a very good game, I think 3 seasons or 4 seasons ago with Eimba. I think he also won the highest goal scorer in the league, and he's back now and he believes he can do something. So these are statement recruitments. These are guys that have done it across Africa. So we are going to make a statement in the Champions League, and those are the kind of signings that they are making. So I believe they've come of age. They are signing the right players, signing very matured players, and they can make a statement in this year's Champions League.
And for me as well, because one thing I would have loved to see is if they could play the second leg at home. Because it can always be challenging when you've done the job in Ikene and then traveling, on hostile environments away from home. And we know, the teams they've faced so far, how they can be when it comes to those away fixtures as an opposition. You know how you can feel that hostile atmosphere, that hostile environment, especially in teams like, in the North African region, the Moroccans, the Egyptian teams, But, we wait to see what the outcome will be from this Zili Majid. The last time they were in the preliminary rounds, they had no CAF approved stadium. The 2 games were played in New York. So we don't know if it will be same outcome this time around. So we wait for you get so then when you play both legs in Ikene and you go past that one, then you go on to face Mamelodi Sundowns. Now imagine you are playing the first leg in South Africa, then the reverse fixture back in Ikene. So it would have just been a slight advantage for Remo Stars. That is one thing I would have loved to see change.
But I'm not sure it would happen because
exactly
South Africa on that level of you're not playing in the first round, so they will get that leverage, and that's why we want our teams to also continue to do well, so that you can be in that position where many teams would have fought themselves. Then you just be here, play one game, and if you are lucky, you get into the group stages. So I don't think South Africa will not play the second leg in Ikene. The second leg would obviously be in South Africa because I think that's the rule. The team coefficient is stronger for them.
The team that has a bye has a stronger. They are stronger.
Absolutely.
Talking about teams having a bye, Mamelodi Sundowns have also had a bye, and the top team. One thing about this preliminary rounds is that all teams will be involved in this preliminary rounds before you go on to the group stage proper. So we'll wait to see how that one pan out. So the full draws: Remo Stars will take on Zili Maju from Comoros for the CAF Champions League. Rivers United will wait for the confirmation of their opposition. It's going to be the winner of the top flight league in DR Congo. So it's not confirmed yet. So that is the team Rivers United will be facing. Then for the CAF Confederation Cup, Abia Warriors will take on Joliba from Mali, and Kwara United against Asante Kosoko, also from Ghana. Another game we would wait to keep an eye on.
They won't keep
we wait to see where these games will be played. We don't know if we've seen any word yet where Kwara United will play their game in this.
The last time they were on the continent, they played at the
Onikon Stadium. So we wait
they said they would finish their stadium, but it's left to CAF to say that this stadium
is going to be approved.
Yeah. So you can finish your stadium and CAF says no, this is not what we want.
Well, we wait to see how that one pans out. The fixtures will be coming out we played in September and in October.
Parazon is quite tough.
Ashanti and
Asante,
there is a Wydad story.
Wydad is waiting.
How did I forget that?
That's why I said they won't keep quiet now.
It's a tough one for our Nigerian teams, and we hope they can be able to scale through. We want to see them go proper in the group stage and see how far they can go. Of course, the finances involved. You play in the preliminary rounds, you've got confirmed $100,000 if I'm not mistaken. So just imagine now for a Nigerian team playing in the group stage proper, the amount of money you're going to earn as
you progress, the money increases.
As you progress, the money increases. So we want to wish our Nigerian contingents all the best, and hopefully they make it through into the group stage. It's a tough ask, but the hope is still there. We wait to see how it's going to play out eventually. We'll go on another break on the show, and when we return, we head straight to the football season. We saw the curtain raiser just over the weekend. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Still the Gliders on BETWGB TV. It's been splendid on the show. Beautiful analysis. If you've stayed with us all through till this very point, thank you so much. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button.
Thank you so much in Morocco.
Shukran.
I mean, Mikola was here last time, but he was giving us, the vibes and all that. Abibi, thank you for coming. Thank you so much if you stayed with us all through the show. I mean, we hope you've had a wonderful time. Let's end it on a high. And I mean, if you've been on the show and you're wondering, this guy's not going to talk about the Premier League. I mean, the season is upon us. Here we are. We're going to talk about that. I mean, we saw the curtain raiser in England over the weekend. Liverpool against Crystal Palace. I mean, we just had to let that one slide. It's the Community Shield. It's a glorified friendly. So let's allow Crystal Palace to have a glorious run. They are in court now, fighting to see if they're going to play in the Europa League. I think that official result will come out soon, because the owner of the club, Steve Parish, was in the court for these proceedings. But we just want them to have a splendid week and to celebrate with that Community Shield. I mean, we know what these signs are. The winners of the Community Shield in the last, I think, how many seasons
14,
now?
except the 18.
I failed to go on to win the Premier League as well. So I failed to go on to win the Premier League. So we just have to. It will give it to Crystal Palace, and let's just go on to win the Premier League and see how that one pans out. But anyway, that's just on the lighter note. But I mean, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, getting us to a wonderful curtain raiser. Now the season begins on Friday. Now let's look at the teams now involved. Who is better equipped to attack the season? The window is still very much on. For me, I would have loved the window to have closed just before the season starts, because. I mean, just let's know the teams that you are taking into the full season. But the window is going to end on September 1st, when the season has already begun. So even if you start the season with your club, there's every chance you might move, as the season progresses. So
some people can play the first game of the season, see that this buys I'll go out.
you get moved
buy in mass, like Arsene Wenger that year. Got slapped in the first game. Bought like how many players?
But that's just my opinion. I would have loved the transfer window to end and then the season starts. But looking at the teams now in the Premier League, who is better equipped to attack the season in terms of transfers and overall recruitment?
I think the regulars, definitely defending champions Liverpool. They are not resting on their laurels from last season. You see, made statement signings as soon as as soon as the window opened. That's the sign of a team that's not looking to slack. They also want their era of dominance. You just have the feeling that the era of dominance of Manchester City is coming to an end, and Liverpool are looking to be the next team to want to take that crown. You understand? Because for a team to have won, I think probably 5 of the last 6 and all of that, and eventually Liverpool winning last season. I think Arne Slot is getting the support that he needs. Arne Slot is getting the support that he needs, getting players, signed Florian Wirtz for record fee, signed Ekitike, signed Frimpong, signed lots of players. And then yesterday I was watching the game, and then I was seeing the stack of players that Liverpool had to call upon. Imagine putting the likes of Chiesa on the bench, there's the likes of Gavin Bench on the bench and all of that. McAllister all of these guys not starting. So you can tell that they're very stacked, and that's a very good squad. And that reminds us of the Manchester City of those days when they were very dominant. The fact that they can always call on match changers from the bench, for a team that is not now looking to rely on players that delivered the league for them last season. They are looking to get more players into the squad. Ekitike involved yesterday, Frimpong also involved, and all of those guys. So for I think Liverpool are looking like the best equipped side going into the new league. Another big shout would be Chelsea. So for Chelsea, they are not a team that's always down for too long. Won the Champions League in 2021, had a couple of bad runs, and then it looks like they are gradually coming back to their best. Don't forget they are also world champions against all odds, beating a PSG side that dismantled Timothy's Inter Milan in the final of the UEFA Champions League. And so coming into that game, you felt like Chelsea stood no chance, but eventually they are that kind of team that can always pull off a surprise. And then you just have that feeling that for Chelsea, I used to mock them because of the fact that they buy so many players and hope that one sticks. And now I feel like they're eventually getting that one that sticks for them. They are getting the players that are now looking like they're sticking. For example, they've done trial and error for the past few, like 2 years since Abramovich left. Don't try and error, sign 15 players, maybe 2 will work, they'll keep those 2, loan out the remaining 13. But now they're already gathering the treasures from the stones that they've packed, and now the treasures are delivering the trophies for them. Winning the Club World Cup against all odds is no mean feat for them. They also won the Conference League last season. So I mean, they are now setting a precedent for winning titles, and now they are starting to get a team of young guys that wants to play very good football. There's Enzo in midfield, Caicedo in midfield, and their forward line is starting to stick. The Jackson might be going out, might be sold eventually before the window closes. They've now gotten the likes of Delap, they've gotten the likes of João Pedro. They are getting very top players that can now deliver the goals for them in front of goal. Add that to a supporting cast of Cole Palmer, who has been their best player in the last 3-4 seasons, 2-3 seasons, I mean. So they are getting the squad. So you definitely know that Chelsea are also going to be a threat. And obviously the very regular names, the likes of Manchester City, you can never count them out. Pep Guardiola is still at the end of
because it seems a lot of people are forgetting that Man City is still in the picture.
I mean, and they are getting very good players. They are doing their business low key. There's still Alan in the team. There's Tijani Rangers that also scored, I think yesterday. And they are also getting the likes of Cheki, the likes of Doku are coming into the party. And also don't forget Arsenal, obviously. As much as it looks like they have not cracked winning the league yet, they are always going to be there in the conversations. Now, Arsenal have gotten a Gyökeres that now looks like probably the final piece of that puzzle for Arteta. So I feel like this is the season for Arteta. If Arteta doesn't win anything this season, there's going to be problems. I can say that for a fact, because now you've gotten the striker that can deliver you the goals. You have to be able to deliver. So the regular names, maybe Manchester United can pull up a surprise, but I still don't see Manchester United as finished yet. Fine, they've signed Sesko now, but I still feel like their defense is not something that is very, very solid yet, and they are still always going to struggle. Also, they also have just one outlet for building and for providing assists, which is Bruno Fernandes. Their midfield is still very shaky, according to my own analysis. So definitely the teams that are ready, in my opinion, for the Premier League: Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City. Obviously.
Well, Manchester United. Do you see them as a dark horse? I mean, there's Cunha, fantastic signing. Matheus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo. They've gotten Benjamin Sesko. There's a new feel around Carrington. It was refurbished, recently, and they are in the chase for Baliba as well. That would be a statement if Brighton wants to sell. And we're talking about £100 million figure. So, and there's no European football for Manchester United. So, it's everything on the league. And Ruben Amorim has settled in. He's seen what he wants. He's now identifying the needs in the team, going into the market, getting players. Do you see Manchester United posing a threat to the other teams when it comes to the Premier League?
One thing I will commend Man United for this season, firstly, is the way they've run their business. They used to previously run the business in a way that they really don't know what they want and they really don't know what they are doing. But if you look at this season, they've not spent so much time on... They've had their main targets. When the season was about ending, there were news that they wanted to get Cunha. Before the season, just a few days after the season ended, they unveiled him. Then immediately, they moved that they wanted to get Brian Mbeumo. they stalled on that one, okay, because of negotiation and all of that. But it was not a case of, oh, because Mbeumo is not coming through, we want to now start testing. Okay, there's one A player here, there's one B player there, there's one C player here. They stood on the ground that they wanted to sign Mbeumo. They got it, and they moved on to Sesco. They knew that they wanted to sign Sesco. I mean, I would not have expected that the Sesco deal would be this fast. I think it was just last week in which they got into the conversation. They submitted a bid. In fact, Newcastle had submitted a bid, but because Sesco had agreed personal terms with Manchester United.
I think we have more to do with the player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because
Sesco had agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and they chose him. They've done 3 business quickly, and they knew that these were the players they wanted. There was no dilly-dallying. Oh, let's try to. Oh, there's one eyeing one player here, targets here, trying to get one personal terms with one player here. No, they know the players they want. And now, like you did say when you were talking, they've stuck with the Baliba. Now there's conversation around Baliba, conversation with the club, the players agent, and all that. If they are lucky, they could get the players. So that's one thing I'll commend them for doing very well this season. And one thing I still need they need to fix is the goalkeeping position, and they need to bring him a midfielder. If they get Baliba, that's fine. He's a very, very good central defensive midfielder who can play very well. He's good with transitioning, he's good with breaking play. And if they get a goalkeeper, I mean, for all that they do in terms of maybe what Bruno Fernandes does, all of those guys in attack would do, you still need a goalkeeper. I mean, we have seen solid teams where it's the goalkeeper that saves you points. Yeah. We have seen it with the likes of
Donnarumma took PSG to the final of the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. So no matter how good a team is, there are some cases where, I mean, you can play, and you would not find the goals, but your goalkeeper would be the one who would save you some points. We saw it with Raya last season when they played against Manchester United. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago? Those double saves where he was saved the first one, then stood up, saved the second one. So those are match-winning points where keeper will give you. And if you have a good goalkeeper who can do that in 4 or 5 games for you throughout the 38-game season, then 15 points is or 15 or the possible 12, 13, 11 that will come with those points. Yeah. There's something it will match up in terms of when the accumulated points will be gone at the end of the season. So I think they need to get the goalkeeper and fix Baliba. But in terms of pushing, I really don't think that they would do maybe to the extent where you want them to. But I expect that they progress from where they finished last season. And when I mean progress, at least fight for a top 6 finish. Yeah. In the Premier League now, it's top 5. We don't know whether, of course, the coefficient of this Champions League will determine next season. But at least for now, it's top 5, and you need to get into that position of, okay, we are playing for a top 6 position. At least that's progress. The fans can be happy and say, okay, we're getting it done. I mean, from last season, they finished 15. If they finished 6th, 5th, or finished anywhere in the top 6 this season, I'm very sure Manchester United fans will take it. And then from there, they can continue to build and, okay, start talking about winning the Premier League once again. I mean, they've won so many cups. They won the FA Cup last season. Mm-hmm. 2 seasons ago. The season is starting soon. They won the Carabao Cup 3 seasons ago. So winning cups is not really their problem. They won the Europa League, I think, in 2021 also. What they really need to do is not about winning those trophies for now. They need to build a team that can always compete season in, season out. It's not a team that will win the Europa League this season and then next season they are finishing 3rd, and then they come back next season, they finish in the top 4. The next 2 seasons, the season that follows, they are finishing maybe 11th or 15th. They do not want to be that team. They need to be a team. That's one thing with Arsenal, and that's why I will always credit Mikel Arteta. As much as people will say he has not won the title, you can see that this team would always be there. In the Champions League, they would always fight. They may not be able to go the farthest. In the Premier League, they would also be there. In the even the FA Cup, where we say, okay, maybe you should win the FA Cup, win the Carabao Cup, they would always still get to those tough places. I mean, they lost in the semi-final last season. In the FA Cup, they lost on penalties to Manchester United. Was it round of 16 or quarter-final? So it's not like they are so far off. But you know that this is a team that is stable. And like Mikolo said also, they've gotten a strike. I mean, so see the goal he scored. It was something, immediately I saw the goal, I was like, okay, this is one thing Arsenal has lacked for so long, because so many crosses come into the box. We know how Bukayo Saka can be very good with crosses, and there's nobody really finding that connection. I think it was when Merino came in, you could see some coming through his head, and all.
He was getting on the end of those crosses.
Yeah, now imagine a striker there, and then some cases you see coaches move players, maybe midfielders or even defenders, when they are trying to find maybe a winning goal or a goal that, okay, puts them into that place where they get a point in the game. We see coaches move players forward. Imagine having the like of Gyökeres, the likes of Merino, and maybe the like of Havertz in the box with Bukayo Saka.
Gyökeres and Havertz.
Yeah, with Bukayo Saka making a cross. I mean, there's no way you can be very good defensively. Sometimes you cannot when crosses keep coming into your box, it's very difficult to maintain the same focus at every point. The
And
crosses
Arsenal
come.
always going to get the ball to places where they can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Very, very difficult
This
to
is going to
get
lead me
those.
to my next question. Which attack excites you the most? Which attacking trio excites you the most when you look at these top teams? I mean, in Liverpool, we've got fantastic trio up top. Arsenal as well, beating the attack. United with their recruitment. So looking at it, which one excites you the most? You've spoken so well about Arsenal's front three. So is that your pick for you when it comes to the most exciting front three heading into the season?
At the moment, I would say Manchester United because Cunha, Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko. Look at the goals amount that they have. Cunha can create, can score. Mbeumo can create, he can score. Sesko, we know how he did not score so many goals last season, but he's a good finisher.
There's a Fernandes just
who can
playing
create
behind.
very, very well. But if Liverpool get to sign Isak, then it's going to be very difficult. There will be Cody Gakpo on the left. There will be Isak. There will be Ekitike on the bench. There would also be a Musala. Musala would always give you goals. So if Liverpool sign Isak, then I'll stick with Liverpool. But if Liverpool don't sign Isak, then I'll stick with Man United. For us now, they have good players, but I think they need to solve that right hand problem. Maybe they will get. Oh, sorry, the left-hand side problem. There's a Saka, there's a Gyökeres, and if they can buy another right winger, I don't know if they will get a winger, maybe Eze or Rodrigo or one thing, then I'll stick with Arsenal. I'll tilt towards Arsenal also. But for now, it's going to Manchester United. I mean, Cunha, Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko is a trio.
Scary on paper,
very scary on paper. That's the word. So
for Liverpool, a lot of people have been saying. I've been talking about.
Liverpool zone. I wanted
A lot of
to
people have been talking about Isak because
the four that started yesterday for Liverpool are like some of the scariest, to be honest. Cody Gakpo, Ekitike / Isak. There's Musala and then there's Florian Wirtz. I think that four is gonna cause any team problem, and I feel like those are like the best when it comes to like profile going into the new season for me personally.
If Isak comes in, he's not going to start because he's not had a proper preseason.
you know
but eventually,
he's not going to pass 2 games.
But eventually, when he settles in, so it's going to be imagine Cody Gakpo, Isak, Musala, and Florian Wirtz. I feel like that's like Trev. And then also maybe Chelsea, to be honest, because of the way they've been playing, maybe because of what I've seen. Delap, Kopama, Pedro. Maybe Pedro Neto, there's I think Joao Pedro, there's Estevao will still pay his dues. But then there's also like Caicedo and Enzo. I feel like I'm looking forward to Chelsea this season. I feel like they're gonna be
this one way they romance Chelsea fans. No way they cookie.
Because preseason. A lot of people tend to put too much on preseason and use it to just upon what's going to happen into the season. Is not always that way. You might have a good preseason, but when the season starts proper, you tend to see what's going to happen.
They played against top teams in the Club World Cup, and they really performed. And they had like it's a combination.
They played one top team. They played one top team actually, but that was the toughest of teams. So I'll give it to them.
I'll not say excited because anti-Chelsea, of course, but then like analytical point of view, it was like very exciting to watch. Now how they come to play when the season starts. We'll see how that goes.
But I think I don't know why they're not signing a goalkeeper. They're comfortable with the saves made in the World Cup final.
You can't compare the competitiveness of the teams like Arsenal and Liverpool, like as a team. What Liverpool did last season competitively, as a team. Now there's little changes, but they're still very competitive as a team coming into this tournament. Arsenal also know what it takes to come back into a game competitively when it comes to that time of the season. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I don't think Chelsea has that yet. Fine, they have an exciting team now and all of that, but when push comes to the shove, how many times have they gone like neck to neck with like top teams in the league, like top half of the like top 4? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like you're pushing. I'm not saying they don't have exciting players, but when it comes to that time when we're pushing for the league.
That one team is winning this week, and you need to close in on that gap, and you're winning also. You're not dropping points so unnecessarily.
There's no breathing space that time. So how do you cope when Joao Pedro is not doing magic anymore, or Kopama is having a summer run? Do you understand? Like maybe he's not firing on all cylinders. So that's what we're saying. See how many times against Madrid, it was Declan Rice that came to the party. You've seen times when Saka is injured. Havertz also had his time to shine last season. So that's what I'm looking for in teams, and that's what Liverpool and Arsenal has currently. There's too many changes in Manchester City for me to also put them in that line. There's like too many changes.
All right, guys, we're coming to the end of the show. But just before we wrap up, let me just quickly put the guys on the spot. I mean, this is a prediction now. Who wins the Premier League? Mikolo, let me start with you. And why? Your pick, because this video might come in handy as the season progresses. So we'll come to the very end. So who is your pick to become Premier League champions and why? I like that deep breath.
So personally, I feel like as a top up on the projects and the great work that is done, I don't want Arteta to go under as an underrated coach or to eventually be seen as a failure, because he's done much more than that. And in a world where trophies are now seen as the victorious moment for him, because of the kind of genius that I feel like Arteta is, the kind of changes he's brought to that club as both a coach and a manager, the atmosphere, bringing the fans together, I want Arsenal to win the league, just so that Arteta's head is saved and his legacy and everything that he's done in the last 4 years doesn't just go as a waste.
Yeah, because we've seen banters now. Like even Oliver Glasner, Crystal Palace has won more trophies than Arteta after winning the Community Shield yesterday. So Timothy, it's very sad to see those banters can really hit hard.
It's actually very good.
So Timothy, who wins the Premier League and why?
I'm for everybody. I'm for nobody.
What kind of that answer? Do you want me to accept that answer, Mikolo? Mikolo said he doesn't want me to accept it. So give us a pick.
In terms of what I want also, like Mikolo, I want Arsenal to win the league. I'm a fan of Arteta and what he has done with Arsenal, the way he has rebuilt the team. But who wins the league? I'm going to say
Liverpool.
Manchester City. Manchester City would win the league. I mean, Pep Guardiola, the way Pep Guardiola may come back, it may not be something everybody has expected. I know we're having conversation, we're not really putting them into the picture right now, but you know Guardiola, what he's going to be doing with his team. I think Manchester City will win the league. They'll be back to win the league.
Well, for me, I'm just scared about
That's gonna be scary.
There's just this fear about Chelsea for me. I know as a fan, I want Liverpool to win the league, but I mean, we should watch out for Chelsea. They might do something unbelievable this season.
They go buy defender and keep our face.
So let's just keep our even Liverpool, the backline too. There's some bit of
there's still Van Dijk.
He's not getting younger.
What Liverpool don't have is a backup, but Chelsea, they've lost their first. Cole is injured, he has an AC, or they need to buy a defender, and they don't have a keeper.
They need to buy with the options they've got.
They don't have a defender that can. Who is the defender that can come in for Cole, that can give what Cole gives? I'm not saying Cole is at the top, but on his level, I'm not sure anybody matches him in this Chelsea squad. Fofana is even struggling. I'm not sure he has stayed fit for up to 2 months since he came to Chelsea. So they need to replace him, and they need to get the goalkeeper. They should not be comfortable because of what they are seeing at the moment. They need to get the goalkeeper. In that state, Liverpool as a goalkeeper, we know Alisson can always give you. They've brought in Mamajidavili also. He was very good when he was at Valencia. And then they have a stable defense in Virgil van Dijk and Konate.
More like a spine is still there.
Joe Gomez is also someone that can come in, and there is also conversation. We saw Steve Parry say that they will have to sell McGay, and Liverpool have been targeting McGay. Yeah. So if they bring that in, then of course Chelsea needs to replace Colwill or even bring in a backup in case. But I'm not sure he's going to come back anytime soon. We know what ACL is and how much it can affect the player. So they need to replace Colwill and also get a goalkeeper. If Sanchez is also going to be that number one, they have to bring in someone that would compete with him. I know when you have a goalkeeper messing up, you need to bring in someone that can match him and say, okay, this is a competition. Then maybe from there they can pick it up. I know the team is solid up front, the team is solid a little in midfield, but in defense they still need to sort some things out. Cucurella would burn out at a point, let's be honest.
Beautiful analysis from the guys on set today, and that tells you one thing: the football season is and truly underway. So you want to keep it locked with the Gliders. We'll be here every week to give you the best of talking points and the best of analysis. Football doesn't start and end in the Premier League. Odds are back as well, but like I said, football doesn't start and end in the Premier League. We're also going to be seeing the Super Cup this midweek. Europa League winners against the UEFA Champions League winners. Spurs against PSG. Then in the weekend, not just the Premier League, the La Liga is also going to get underway. The Coppa Italia, the DFB Pokal in Germany. So football is back generally, and we'll be here every week to give you the very best of analysis and the very best of talking points. It's been what we can give you today on the show. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. I've done this with Mikolo and as well Timothy Deyimbo. Hopefully next week on the show we've got the very, very much of the cavalry back on set. Joy chomping at the bits to get back on the show. Don't you go anywhere. We've enjoyed every bit of it. You're still the Gliders. Thank you for keeping up with us. Continue to stay glued. Enjoy the rest of the week. Like I always say, stay safe. Keep the very best of attitude till we come away again next time. Bye-bye.